What's good, people? It's about that time to randomly relate reverse rants, no hate. So, I want to talk about Jared Anderson and Martin Bakoloe. Now, there were some questions answered, but to be honest with you, there were things that we already knew, that we saw, and I'm never really shocked about the outcome of a fight because, like I said, things can happen. But from the very beginning, when Jared got dropped in the first round, first thing, anytime I was asked about this fight, and I broke down what I said, basically, the fight went the way it was supposed to go. Okay, we can pretty much say that we can say that about most fights. There was no injuries in the ring. There was nothing that prevented one guy from performing, physically damaged or something before he got in the ring. No, nothing like that. Here's the situation. So Jared Anderson comes in, and what he does off the beginning, from the very beginning, that I said, okay, this might end early. He's standing there, and I said before, I see this more of a war type fight. What I wanted to know from Jared Anderson was he gonna be able to box, not be prideful and stand there and fight the way that he did. If you're gonna get that close, you definitely need to be defensive, ready to move, slip, slide, and Jared really, if you watch him, he comes forward, but he leans backwards with his hands up. He wasn't able to really do that against Martin Bakoloe. The reach is too long. He reminds me of a kangaroo, man. You ever see two kangaroos fight? They both lean back and just do this. They lean their heads back. And Jared loved to do that. He comes in, over top, and and I told you guys, he's not a devastating puncher, man. He's really not a big puncher. He's more of an accumulative guy. And I didn't like his chances of staying so close. Now, Martin Bakoloe, like I said, between the two of them, Jared is technically, okay, he showed technically like more ability to put punches together differently. The difference in this fight was his usual style didn't work. So I said he's going to need to be able to box. I don't know, when you say box to people, it's like they picture boxing being one particular way to box. No. He doesn't need to be the target. But people always, when you look at Martin Bakoloe, even the commentators made it sound like there was nothing Jared Anderson could do, right? So it's like, well, why go into a fight if you feel defeated, right? Obviously, he didn't. He thought what he had, he thought he was going to be able to win. But the point, what I'm saying, when you listen to commentators, they always tell you, well, if it was me, I'd do this and that, or I'd be instructing my fighter to do this and that. They're making it seem like, basically, even like he's going to the body. Well, he doesn't care about those body shots. It doesn't matter what he doesn't care about. The point is, a lot of times, fighters lose a fight based on that one thing that they didn't care about. They didn't worry about it, but all of a sudden now, guess what? Rounds are ticking. They get more tired. That accumulation of punches is starting to slow them down. It wasn't a problem with Jared Anderson going to the body. The thing with Jared Anderson is, even though, like, if you watch him, he can put punches together better against lesser opposition. He couldn't do that against Martin Bakoloe the way he did it. He should have been on the outside on angles. Martin Bakoloe stands right in front of you. The majority of the time, one hand down, one hand up, and he's right in front of you. Every shot he throws is going to be long. He especially when he digs to the body, he's coming in with all his weight up top. And he basically likes to load up with the long punches. That's how he gets his body weight behind all those shots. And then once he gets you to the ropes and you're doing this, that's when he loads up and you're in a position where now, only thing you're able to really throw is slaps. Because you let him close that gap on you and he just keeps coming at you with his body weight and he has the long reach. So he's getting his shots there before you can. Watching Jared Anderson, and he got dropped, he got up, okay, whatever. I just felt like, okay, let me see how he comes out this second round. And in the second round, he's fighting him at close quarters. I said, man, he's not fighting the right fight. So, looked at my son. I said, man, he's probably gonna get knocked out. Like, yeah, he's probably gonna get knocked out. You know, the fights are still going on. Obviously, I gotta have it down for the copyright stuff, whatever. But anyways, so he gets stopped in the fifth. Bottom line, he fought the wrong fight, and he showed he doesn't have that ring savvy to switch up and do anything different. And he said he made the same mistakes he always makes. He says the worst thing I could do is not listen to my corner. And even me, before he even said all of that, I'm saying with the way he fought the fight, what did they bring in Javon Sugar Hill for? For what? Javon Sugar Hill trained fighters to box, not stand there and fight stupidly. He emphasized box, use your physical gifts. Jared needs to be on the outside. Look, Martin Bakole's flat-footed. He can't move. He doesn't go backwards. Okay, he doesn't have that mobility. He doesn't have that. Unless you can match him, like if you can't put it like this, if you can't match him with your power, or and it's not even so much with the power, as long as you hit hard enough to hurt a guy, okay, regardless to them thinking you can't knock them out. As long as if you lack the reach, you lack the physical size, you damn sure better have that hand speed, blazing hand speed, where you can get your shots off before they can. And Jared Anderson doesn't have that. Okay, Jared Anderson, which is something I'm about to get to in a minute after I say this, but Jared Anderson showed that he doesn't have a real solid ring IQ. If things are not going the way he wants it to, like I told you, when he fought against Charles Martin, he was getting hit with shots by Charles Martin that he shouldn't have got hit with. And when I'm watching him fight the way he did, it's like you should be giving Martin Bakoloe angles. Martin Bakoloe doesn't even move his head. He just stands right in front of you, just waiting to counter. Okay? And because he has power, and he does, he doesn't have the fastest hands, but he's quick. For his size, he's quick. And so he can catch you. And the thing is, once Martin Bakoloe see that you're not willing to go through the fire, like you're there and you're hesitant to throw shots, and he's going to start to turn up on you. And so I'm watching him, I said, okay, instead of giving him angles, hitting it, people in this generation, even these commentators who always tell me how great Pernell Whitaker was, and Ali and Tyson, all of them, they seem to forget what works in a fight that these fighters are not doing now. Because even if you want them angles, you see guys snap that jab, pow, to the hip. Yeah, before you know it, 3-4 rounds go by, and them hips are sore. You're not able to move your legs like you want to. You see the effects. You working that body, you fainting. No feints from Jared Anderson. Okay? You working the body. When they expect the body shot to come, he leans a certain way. As soon as he goes to reach, you slip, bam, come on. I mean, nothing. And I said, nah, Jared, 2 rounds. 2 rounds, I told my son he's going to get knocked out. I think this is going to end early. He's fighting a stupid fight. Not just the wrong fight, the stupid fight. And when he comes out and says at the, the post-fight interview, he says the worst thing that he could do is not listen to his corner. They were telling me to do things, but I wasn't doing that shit. And I'm listening to him. He, a lot of these niggas, man, I'm only 24. A lot of these niggas, 34. And I'm listening. I'm just going home with my daughter, man. That's all I care about. And I said, yeah, he doesn't have the passion for boxing. That question was answered. He just doesn't have that fire, that desire that you need. Any job you do, any job, if you have to force yourself to go to it, you probably won't stay there long. And while you're there, you won't be happy. Okay, all the way up until the time you make your exit, you won't be happy. This is the hurt business, man. And I feel like he lost a lot more fans tonight. I feel like the fans that he had probably said, man, this dude, just like the promoters, everybody's trying to put him in position, to, hey, man, we're giving you the opportunity. Come on, wake up. You talking about 2-3 years, then you want to walk away. Boxing ain't the only thing. But you chose boxing. So when people ask you questions, about boxing and your future, and you respond to them as if you don't understand why they're asking you these questions, because hey, boxing isn't everything. Well, that attitude, I mean, there's no need to make excuses, which he didn't. There's no need to be a sore loser, which he wasn't. But he clearly showed he just doesn't have the passion for boxing. So all these other things that he's talking about he want to do, and him saying, I'm only 24. What does it matter? You said you wanted to lead a sport in 2 or 3 years. So what does that matter? You was put here, and you passed the Charles Martin test. Charles Martin is basically washed up. He's a shell of himself. You got in here with Martin Bakoloe. This was by far the biggest fight of your career, and you didn't feel the need to do anything different. You must have. Otherwise, you wouldn't have brought in Javon Sugar Hill. But, and when he said at the press conference, they didn't change anything. He just basically added to what he already did. And my whole thing was, everybody always talk about when you go with a new trainer, there's no way that you can learn all these things in a short period of time. And well, okay, well then, definitely the fact of him bringing in, like, we saw videos of him working with Roy Jones. Javon Sugar Hill now comes in and was, in camp with him for this fight. And he basically just didn't do what he was instructed to do because he can't. His heart wouldn't let him. He felt Bakole's power. He got shook. Say it like it is. He got shook. He didn't want to get hit again with that shit. And instead of fighting smart, he fought stupidly. Now, you have to get in. And this is where the commentators is wrong. I don't agree with them at all. They're saying he can't get inside and fight with him. No, you can't get inside and stand there and bullshit. You have to be defensive minded. You have to get in and get your shots in, because you got to take away from Bakoloe what he does best, and that's keeping you on the end of his long shots. That's what Bakoloe does. He's not going to beat Bakoloe on the outside. He has to get in. He just has to pick his spots. He has to give him angles. He has to not be predictable. He has to shoot feints. He has to make Bakoloe want to, basically get desperate, lunge in, catch him with his own momentum, and basically you go into counterpunch mode whenever he starts to, try to get a momentum. Hold him, spin around him if you have to, but use your brain. Like, when you hear the term ring generalship, when you hear people talk about a fighter's experience, when you hear them talking about, a fighter's IQ, all of those things come into play. It's not just a few things here and there. All of those things come into play. So when you're fighting someone that you can't beat that person just one way, you have to find what you need inside, and your corner's telling you what to do. And he showed that, he just doesn't have it, man. He doesn't really take boxing serious enough to be successful and make a living fighting the top guys. And he just showed that. He showed that. And after losing, here's another thing that people overlook about boxing. When you go back, and I know fighters have been doing this for the longest, so it's not anything new, but it doesn't mean that it's right. It doesn't mean that it works, that it helps. It depends on the fighter and the situation. For him to get in the ring, his very next opponent more than likely will be a weak opponent. This was your moment to prove I belong on this card. I belong amongst the top guys. That's exactly what this moment was. Okay? When a fighter says, I don't care who it is, I'll fight anybody, that's great. That's great. But when they ask you why you fought him and you say, I'll fight anybody, I told him, he said, top 18, yeah, it don't matter, anybody, whoever, Why does he have to ask you top 18? Right? At the end of the day, he's letting you know. He's not asking you as if, okay, you get to pick your opponent, but letting you know, okay, I'm going to pick somebody who's top, like, or, better than the guys you're used to fighting. Let's put it that way. When I listen to Jared Anderson talk, I'm watching him at the face-off and everything, dancing, smiling, with the headphones on. I mean, he got serious with the face-off at times, when with Bakoloe, but I'm just not feeling from him the right type of energy, Told you, I read people's facial expressions, their body language, and just look at how they react to things, and you get a feeling about certain things. And no, I didn't need him to be all intense and hollering and screaming and promising stuff and all that. Nope, I really didn't. It's just him and his he's he's very immature for one. So when he talks, it's like okay, like but listening to him, um, he just doesn't have the fire he needs, the passion he needs. He doesn't have the love for for what he's doing. You don't have to love boxing, but you have to love it when you do it. You understand what I mean? And anybody telling you I don't need to be champion to be validated, what are you doing this for? And like I said before, how do you think you're going to make the big dollars by not fighting? And then for you to bring up, the smaller guys and look at what they did. It wasn't even for a title. And this guy fought that guy and it wasn't even for, okay, what did that have to do with you? Now, on one hand, you don't want to do things the way everybody else do it. And you make that known when you're talking to an interviewer. But then you want to point the finger and say, well, in this particular scenario, I mean, I don't have to be champion in order to be that guy. Well, if you can't beat the top guys, nobody wants to see you. And like I said, I feel like he lost a lot of people tonight. Not because he lost, the way he lost. And then his reaction and listening to him talk all the way up until now, what does it tell you? It's telling you exactly what he told us. Boxing isn't everything. And Martin Bakoloe, it doesn't matter which one of them fought the better competition or not. The difference between the two of them, because you have a lot of dudes that they haven't fought the same level of competition as the opponent, then they fight that opponent and destroy them. And that opponent had way better competition. That's something that's happened. A lot of people overlook that, but that's facts. Okay? But Martin Bakoloe showed more heart than Jared Anderson, more confidence in his game plan, and pretty much he wants to be champion. See, he has that desire. He has that passion. He has that love. Okay? And he wants to do this. Now, the same way he say he fight for his daughter, and Martin Bakoloe fighting for his country and everybody else and all that. Okay, whatever. Bottom line is, he's driven to want to be the best. He's asking for the top guys. Jared Anderson, is all nonchalant about it. So when people are even saying things like, well, he's only 24 now, he says, I'm only 25. Like, no, listen. Yes, you are only 24. Yes, you have time to grow and learn. Yes. But you just don't have what you need, Jared, to make it in the sport of boxing. So maybe whether it's rap music or whatever else it is you're doing on the side outside of boxing that you saying you want to do, that's gonna prevent you from fighting more than 2 or 3 years more. Maybe you should go into that. Unless something happens where you have a change of heart and attitude and the way you see things, it's gonna be the same thing when you step up and have tough fights. You're gonna fail. Because one thing about smart fighters, they know how to switch up. Okay, that's not working. Let me do this. I mean, he went for southpaw, and that didn't help him really because he still was tentative to come in. He didn't know how to get in. And I said that's his biggest problem right there. He hasn't figured out how to get in without getting cracked. And like I said, he tasted Bakole's power. He didn't like it, and I could see he was just trying to just fight. Wasn't trying to box and be smart. You got to think. You take away what a fighter does well. You have a flat-footed fighter in front of you. See, here's the thing. If someone fights against Bakoloe and do exactly what I'm saying and they beat him, it's not about saying, well, Aries did say that. I mean, hell, give credit where it's due. But no, I don't care about that. What I'm saying, a person is going to see and go, damn, that's all I had to do. I'm telling you, the guy, like they made a reference to George Foreman saying that, well, what's his name? Jared Anderson said this is going to be easy work. He's slow and all that. And one of the commentators says, well, George Foreman was the slowest guy in the division for a long time, but George Foreman was, I'm like, yeah, 2 different fighters. And they had 2 different styles. They both were punchers, but George moved. Like George, he didn't stand in one spot waiting for you. George would walk you down and hunt you down. Okay, George brought the fight to you. Bakoloe doesn't bring the fight to you. Bakoloe waits for you. Like I said, once Bakoloe see that, okay, this dude doesn't want to come in and mix it up, now let me start to tear him apart. That's what Bakoloe does. Okay, so the thing is, you have to take away from him what he does well, and that's stay behind the long shots and get his power shots off. And look, the dude, like I said, he has, look, Bakoloe has quick hands, but he has no footwork. So that's why when he punches, if you watch him, he leans in and leaves himself wide open. So now they're trying to build this aura that he can take anybody's punch. You can't hurt him. This guy, I mean, his chin. And so, yeah, that can all help him in winning going forward. Because you build this aura of invincibility. Now you got fighters scared to get hit and all that stuff. And, he said the one thing about Deontay Wilder that I've been saying for the longest. And that's why I laugh at a lot of people when they talk this shit. I'm like, man, Deontay, little skinny ass. Y'all keep talking about the hardest punching heavyweight. This little scrawny motherfucker. And I'm not saying this to slight the guy. You jump on Deontay, beat that little skinny body up, them chicken legs. I don't give a fuck about no right hand. I'm like, you talking about a dude that's not even a complete fighter. And y'all trying to make him one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. That dude, man, come on. Seriously, man, Deontay. And this is how I looked at it. Like, it's not. And I look at people and I say, if you were training a fighter, or if you yourself were in this fight, okay, and if you can't fight, then you wouldn't know. Okay, but you look at a guy. I'm 255 fucking pounds. Do you fucking think I'm fighting a motherfucker 213, whatever? I'm worried about, his right hander. No, it doesn't mean let me go in there and let him hit me just to show him I don't care. No. What I'm saying is I can crack with either hand. Any punch I hit you with. That's what we do. I'm going to fight a guy who's a fucking fragment of me, and all I'm worried about is his right hand. He got to worry about my uppercuts, my body shots, my hooks, my jab, my straights. He got to worry about everything, my footwork, my IQ, everything. And all I have to do with him is just take the right hand away from him, and that's a hard puzzle to solve. Maybe for these fucking fighters with the mindset that they have now. But this is what I'm saying. And Bakoloe said, Deontay too skinny, too small. The guy is too. It's not because he's overlooking Deontay, like, I'm underestimating. No, he's looking at what's in front of him. He see what Deontay has, and he feels the same way. I don't give a fuck, even when Deontay was 238. I don't give a fuck if Deontay didn't have chicken legs, but he does, okay? Deontay is not a complete fighter. And this is what I'm saying. So with Bakoloe, the illusion with him, fat, flabby looking, but he stands there and he waits, but he's quicker than you think. He shows that. You wouldn't expect the quickness from a guy that big and with that build. But he throws his shots quick, and he keeps it long. Do you understand? He keeps it long. He keep you behind the shots, and then when you get on the inside, when Bakoloe leans back, that torque that he gets when he swings, okay, if you let him dictate what you're doing, even if you come in at close quarters trying to land shots, but if you're doing it based on, I'm just trying to land something, and he sees that, he's going to time you, and he's going to catch you. And when you try to do something different, but it's just a desperate attempt, it's not really well thought out, you're going to put yourself in that position. Like we saw Jared Anderson do. So the thing about it is Jared Anderson did what he knows how to do. And you look at it this way. When a guy has a puncher's chance, that possibility is always there. But at the same time, at least, in theory, okay? But when a guy gets in the ring and he starts fighting the top guys, now, it's no coincidence that Martin Bakoloe won. Martin Bakoloe, what he brings to the table is more effective than what Jared Anderson brought. And like I said, just in 2 rounds, I'm like, I think he's going to get knocked out early. And my son was like, yeah, he's fighting stupidly. Like, yeah, it's not even a smart fight. And lo and behold, 5th round. Out of here. Now, Martin Bakoloe saying he won a rematch with Michael Hunter. Now, he wants to fight the better guys, but I guess just the simple fact that he has that loss to Michael Hunter, it's like, I want to avenge this loss because this guy beat me. Now I want to beat him. Okay. And so, on to bigger and better things. Michael Hunter got in the ring. He said, "Oh, definitely we go and run it back or whatever." Michael Hunter has been gone so long, I forget about the guy, honestly. And then, once in a while, something may be said where his name comes up. But, yeah. And what's funny is because you heard the commentary team say he lost to Michael Hunter, but you can blame that due to a shoulder injury. And it could be truth to that. Okay? It could be truth to that. But I know when I hear people trying to build up a fighter. Okay? I know when I hear them trying to build up a fighter, man. And most of these fanboys and fan channels, they're making excuses and this and this and that and whatever. Everything's not an excuse. Shit happens. Okay? Especially when you hear fighters fight injured all the time. Most of the time they're injured. Something's not right. Okay then. Yeah, but such and such wasn't. One thing doesn't have shit to do with the other. You might have an injury in the fight right now and you can get through it. You might have that same injury in another fight and you just can't get through it. But because you didn't say anything about it, people don't know. I beat this guy with an injury. Now I lost to another guy, with the injury, or whatever. It doesn't matter. That's just people running their mouth. But yeah, the questions that was answered about Jared Anderson for me was no. He doesn't have a solid ring IQ. He doesn't know how to switch up, and do the necessary things to win. 2, he doesn't have the discipline. Not only does he lack understanding, he doesn't have the discipline. Okay? And 3, no. He hasn't learned and accepted his role as a professional boxer, as the way to feed his family and what he does for a living. That it's vital that he find the passion that he needs. Why? Just like I told you guys, because when you get in a tough fight, you'll either quit or, bottom line, you'll just get desperate, and that's mentally giving up without waving the white flag. I'm going to fight stupidly. If I get knocked out, I just get knocked out. You understand what I mean? And yeah, that's what I saw. So, yeah. You can't go. You cannot become elite by doing things like that. And see, the difference with him and Wilder, when you look at it, is this: Wilder was pushed to fight the guys he fought. He was knocking them out. Now Jared has some knockouts, yes, and like I said, he's not like, if he sits down and punch and catch you right, yeah, he can get you, but like he's not a big puncher, especially for his size. But Wilder's style was seen as being, he was just seen as being more exciting, put it that way, at his time, coming through the heavyweight ranks, but by other people. But as far as Jared Anderson goes, people were saying he has a better skill set overall, and I'm like, yeah, he does. You see, fighting Wilder wouldn't have been the same as fighting Bakoloe. You understand what I'm saying? It wouldn't have. But at the same time, and with Wilder, he's more predictable. Okay? But even in that sense, let's say Wilder catch him with a right hand and crack him and hurt him. Right? Who knows? And this is what I'm saying. Like with Jared, I just feel like if the fight gets tough, he doesn't understand. When you don't love something, you don't put your all into it. It's like if you messing with a chick and you don't love her, you might do things for her. You want to eat. Okay, cool. And like you out here, all right, yeah, I'm about to marry this woman, or you having car trouble? All right, we gonna fix your car up, sell it, get you a new car. We gonna do this and that, or what? You understand? You're not gonna go through all that. Nah, that's all. Ain't no love here. Love you as a human being. You don't do all of that. You don't do the same things for somebody that you do for your loved ones. Like no, it's compassion, and then this is my heart right here. I'll die for my sons. I'll die for my family, man, to protect them, to make sure that they live and whatever. But am I going to do that for just anybody? No, and that's what I'm saying. So when you don't have that passion, you'll just say, you know what, I don't need this shit. Fuck it. It's just a loss. I'm only 24. I'll bounce back. I got time. And this is what happens. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of people that was watching this fight, wanting to see how Jared Anderson was going to respond, saw that fight and just went, nah, he doesn't have it. And here's the crazy part about it is when they put these fights together, right? These cards together. Now here you are home on your soil, and this is what you show up and do. You understand what I mean? And why am I saying that? Because usually it's a situation where people go and they fight out in different countries. One of the first concerns that people have is that the judges are going to call it down the middle, especially if the judges happen to be from that country or partnering countries that's close by or something like that, where they don't want to get robbed. Whether people coming here to fight from another country or vice versa. Here you are on home soil. Martin Bakoloe represented better than you did, fight night. And you choked, man. That's what you did. You choked. And you don't have what it takes to be an elite fighter. You're not a top level fighter, man. And it's fun, and it's so screwed up because you got the potential. You just don't have the desire. So we now know what it is. So hey, man, salute to Martin Bakoloe. He came and did what he had to do. He did the damn thing. And for you to say, you're. It's funny when Devin Haney was telling Regis program, man, you're 34, I'm 24, right? That doesn't mean shit just because of the number and the age. It's the two fighters involved. So when Jared Anderson made that same comment, talking about I'm only 24. Some of these niggas be 34, and they ain't did what I did or whatever. He was trying to point. He was trying to make it like, okay, well, Regis got beat up. Devin Haney saw the flaws in his opponent that he could take advantage of. You basically saw things that you thought you could take advantage of. You saw flaws, because Martin Bakoloe has flaws. Stylistically, he just has flaws. But you wasn't able to take advantage of anything. And I saw how frustrated he was. I said, damn, one round, already you're switching up to go southpaw. And basically when he was doing this, it's like, he wants to catch you with that straight right. And I mean, for Jared to not be, like when he's throwing the shots on the inside, he's standing too long. He doesn't have any real fluidity. And for you to be 250, he came in 252, Bakoloe was 280 something. You're not taking advantage of his slow. He's just stationary. He's more than just a slow-footed guy. He's stationary. And once Bakoloe, let me tell y'all what Bakoloe likes to do. Bakole's gonna try to hit you, but he's gonna, try to figure you out. Time you wait. From 1 through 5, 1 through 6, okay, he's gonna still try to get you, but he's gonna pace himself. Once he starts 7 through however long the fight go, that's when he starts to turn up more. He'll start to walk you down more. Okay? And pretty much for Jared to see what he saw, but still not listen to his corner, and him himself not able to troubleshoot in the ring, because even if your corner tell you what to do going out, you may go out in the ring and what they're telling you to do, you're not doing it right. So what do you do? Okay, I know what I need to do. No. So even if he knew what he should have been doing, he didn't have the heart. So that's it's one of the two. Either you didn't know what you were supposed to be doing, okay, or you knew and you just couldn't do it. Too scared to get hit. Plain and simple. So the better man won. That's just what it is. But yeah, man, Jared's not going to go any farther until he has an attitude adjustment. Until boxing becomes the sport that you love, the occupation that you love. You don't have to, like I said, you don't have to love what everybody else do. But when you do it, you need to make sure you want to go in there and shine. Y'all didn't think that answer just sound kind of like it wasn't an excuse at all. It just sound lame. Like it showed his heart's not into this shit. Nah, he ain't got to go around crying, screaming, kicking the ropes and throwing shit out the ring. No, he ain't got to do that. But just, I just going home to my daughter. That's all I care about, man. And I can hear him being interviewed saying things like he said before, if I go in there and get brain damage or something happen to me, then I can't go on to my daughter and stuff like that. But like, bro, this is the hurt business. Before you chose boxing, you didn't realize that these things happen to people. Fighters do die in the ring. Fighters end their careers a lot of times with brain damage. Like, this is the hurt business. Why did you choose boxing is my question. You know, why did you choose boxing? Because the way you speak about it is like you have an attitude towards people who think you're not fighting the top guys. And you act as if like, nah, like you should have the right to pick and choose. You should have the right to no, that's not what happens. That's not what happens. And if you sit back and looked at Deontay Wilder, because I remember somebody in the comment section said that, well, Wilder did it. Yeah, he did. What that have to do with Jared Anderson? Once again, one fighter does something, this fighter does something, that I ain't doing that. That's their business. But now, when it's something that benefits you, you don't mind following somebody else's footsteps. And I don't see why this is something so hard to figure out for people. But you choose something to do. This is, that boxing is not a job that just came by to pay the bill. This is something that you trained to do, dedicated your time to do, and you don't seem to get it. You don't seem to get it. And that's the difference when you're in fights where, okay, the guy's fighting back. And because I've seen Jared have fights where he's trading with guys and they're going back and forth. And that's why I said, in the last video I made about them, I said Jared Anderson versus Martin Bakoloe war. Because I didn't see, my thing with, and I said in the video, I don't know if Jared has the mental, the IQ, or the boxing ability to do what he needs to do. Because Bakole's not going to do anything different, but do what he does. That's what he's going to do. What are you going to do differently? And that's one of those situations. This guy's going to be who he's going to be. You have to be different, because bottom line is, we've seen Bakoloe take big bombs and don't go down. We've seen you get buzzed, by Charles Martin. We saw you get hit with shots that you shouldn't have got hit with. Now, fight by fight basis, fighters are supposed to learn. Let's see what you can apply to your next fight to get better. Because the experience goes with you. But the fighting styles, that's what's different, who you're fighting. But it's all the same thing. Punching and slipping. Bottom line, it's the same thing. So, how you adjust to your opponents is one thing. And pretty much, Martin Bakoloe has a bigger heart. Yeah. And he was disciplined to fight his fight. Where Jared Anderson is more like, you know what? I'm just happy I can go home with my daughter. That's the most important thing. Yeah, that is the most important thing. Is that your health is intact, that you can go back to your daughter. Okay? But at the same time, the most important thing for you to do when you go to do your job is to do it to the best of your ability. And in this case, you brought in a man who pretty much, I know he didn't tell you to do that shit you was doing. We know he wasn't teaching you to do that shit that you were doing in that ring. And like you said, my corner was telling me what to do, and I wasn't doing that shit. But, this and that, and, all right, no big deal. I lost. Okay, whatever. Yeah, now put me in another big fight and just give me a big check. I don't care if it's a title fight or not. I really don't care. I just want the money. See the difference between a fighter. Okay? The difference between a fighter and the guy that fights. Difference. It's a difference. It's like how they say you have truck drivers and then you have truckers. If you don't know what that means, the truck driver is the guy that don't mind driving the truck, but he want to come home at the end of the day. The trucker is the dude that look forward to going across the country, going all over the place, don't mind being away from home, not with his family. I know a lot of them, enough of them that done been divorced and went through all kinds of shit. Oh, she knew you was a trucker before you and her got together. She thought she could handle it. Then all of a sudden, you're never home, you're on the road. That's why people that have that job, either they're single or their chick is on the road with them. That type of shit. You understand what I'm saying? So the truck driver don't want to be on the road. Shit, man, I'm going to be going for 3 days. Damn, I'm going to be going for a whole month. God damn, I live in New Jersey. These motherfuckers want me to go to fucking California? Oh, nah. You understand what I'm saying? They don't want that. The truckers don't mind. The truck drivers do. And this is the difference. Martin Bakoloe, is a fighter. Okay? Jared Anderson is a guy that fights. Okay? He's not that guy, man. He's not that guy. And if you got this old and you still haven't figured out why people are asking you the things they're asking, maybe this loss, maybe after it sets in, he thinks about it, the right people get in his ear, maybe he'll understand the assignment. Maybe. But until we see that, it is what it is. The dude don't have the love, the passion, or desire to be a fighter. Plain and simple. Talk to me in the comment section, y'all. Never fall in love with lies. Remember, the truth brings hate out of people. And I will catch y'all on the next video.